And good Friday morning to everyone.
TGIF.
Yes. And Rayford comes back tomorrow, everybody. Thank goodness. So, yeah. And I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrels.
And we got Rayford on the line.
And I'm Rayford Brown.
Yeah. So,
Well,
I look forward to hearing that Monday morning. I'm
Mhm.
Rayford Brown, live in the studio.
you never know. This thing may be a complete hoax to everybody out there, the entire audience. You know that, right?
Well, we know better. Just like I
They
said,
just think that
lies.
I'm on here.
Get
I'm
packed.
In my house. I'm in my house.
mhm.
Been in the basement the whole time, right?
There you go.
I know
Hiding in the
somebody that will call that a total lie. And if you don't come home tomorrow, she's shipping your pets down to you.
What's
So
wrong with my pets?
she's
Something,
just,
is there a problem
your
with my
pets are a lot of work.
No, they're
I
not.
can't imagine that.
Yeah, they have caused her some grief.
All you have to do
So,
with mine is just throw the food in the
yeah.
door and they're good.
Mm-hmm. Well, his don't. I think he has trained his to do this on purpose to her. That's what I think.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't want to
What
hear.
Yeah.
are they doing?
Uh huh.
That's the name Shockwave.
Yep.
And
Yep. Yep. These and you know they're his because they act just like him. So yeah.
oh
That's
gosh.
a good thing.
Okay.
So, Rayford,
Yes.
the town was crazy yesterday,
Mhm.
as you were aware.
Mm-hmm.
24 hours ago, it all hit the fan.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
literally 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I
As
didn't hear
we
about
all
it.
are.
I didn't hear a thing about it until I got back from the second dive
Mhm.
yesterday. So I'm like, what in the world?
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is not Jacksonville.
Well,
Yeah.
that's like we were sitting here at the station on air, and Kelly started getting texts like crazy.
Yeah.
I got texts, but I had
Yeah.
left my phone in the truck. So we were getting all this information coming in, and, we were putting out that something occurred.
Yeah.
We couldn't verify or confirm anything yet,
Mhm.
but it was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, to bring people up to speed who may not know anything or may be listening from afar, at Northside High School in Jacksonville,
Mm-hmm.
a what the police call an incident, which there's no such thing as an incident in a situation like this.
Yeah.
A murder occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Absolutely, yes.
And an assault occurred.
Yeah.
One person, I don't know what his age or sex is.
Mm-hmm.
One student at Northside is dead. He was stabbed to death. She were
My
stabbed to
understanding it was
death.
a he, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it
Yeah.
is. And another is in the hospital being treated for wounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Stabbed
Mhm.
7 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
in the common area at Northside High School.
Yeah.
Just unreal.
First, what is wrong with this picture? Something had to be brewing. Something was going on prior to leading up to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I find out the police have now, they arrested one person, school
Yes.
resource officer, arrested who they say is the stabber,
Yeah.
and two other people apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, explain yourselves. I don't know anything else about it.
Mm-hmm.
Juvenile petitions, that means they're a child, a minor.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing as a warrant for a real person or an
Right.
adult.
Mm-hmm.
But it charged the one with voluntary manslaughter. Huh.
Why not second degree murder?
Depends upon whether this was planned or not. The brat brought a knife to school.
Yeah. So there's part of the planning right there.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a little
That's-
confused by the manslaughter versus even
So
second
sorry.
degree murder. So yeah.
Just an open count of murder
Mhm.
would be, personally, in my view,
Mhm. Yeah.
the right way to go. And they can be reduced.
Mm-hmm.
It can be increased when they finally interview all of the witnesses, because apparently the courtyard was full of witnesses. And the police are investigating, of course,
Well,
and they're going to be talking with them.
maybe the stabber was the intended victim and it was self defense.
He went
Could
there
that
with a
be?
knife.
Yeah. Could that explain the manslaughter charge though?
Well, nobody should have a knife in their pocket at school.
I agree
No,
100%.
it's illegal.
I think that highlights a whole separate issue
That's right.
that I was actually going to talk about. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what part do the other two play. There's one's 15, two are 16.
Mhm.
Right.
So what part did the other two play?
Mhm.
Well, there's a
That's
lot of word on the street. Of course, we can't confirm any of it, but
Yeah, I know. The chief addressed it yesterday a little
yes,
bit.
Mhm.
right,
They're investigating, but they don't have any definitive information yet about it
right,
being gang related.
right. Well, I know that they canceled in school learning today at
Yeah.
White Oak High School. They added that to the list and Jacksonville High School. And they canceled all the activities for the weekend, including the football games tonight for White Oak and Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's canceled too?
Yes.
North side or Jacksonville?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Leave Jacksonville out of it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. White Oak and North Side.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I had
yeah.
Jacksonville on my mind.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
In
Yeah.
Jacksonville. Right. But the White Oak football game and the North Side football game both have been canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all other sports.
Yes. And
'Cause they
all
have
other
other fall
activities.
sports as well were canceled for this weekend, which
Right.
is, understandable.
Which
Yeah.
I think that's
Mhm.
wise. Absolutely.
4 days to get things back together. Friday,
Right.
Saturday, Sunday, and of course Monday being Labor Day.
Right. Yes.
Mhm.
And hopefully things will all calm down. But that's like we had heard, Kelly had heard too, and I think this might be important. The drive-by shootings that was occurring in the Piney Green area over the last couple of weeks, where
Yeah.
somebody was driving by shooting at houses and stuff, and
No, they were shooting at each other.
shooting at each other. That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, the
Mhm.
one on Wolf Swamp and Piney
No,
Green
this
area.
was up Piney Green.
Oh, this
Yeah,
was
this
on
is a
Piney
whole
Green.
separate.
Oh, this
a
was the
separate
one
thing.
involving that accident,
Yes,
wasn't it?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, could all be related. So that's going to
Yeah.
be waiting to see how that's going to pan out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Well, this is serious stuff. 16 and 17-year-olds
15,
and
15.
15.
15 and
Yes,
16, yeah.
15 and 16. This
Mhm.
is serious stuff.
Well, I back in like 10 years ago, um, I attended a gang training here in Onslow County, actually at the sheriff's office.
Mhm.
And people need to understand gangs have been here. Like, if anybody says we haven't had gangs here, you're a liar, because I attended a training at least 10 years ago. And at the time it was, wasn't a huge problem, but it was becoming one. And the gangs at the time were coming up mainly from Wilmington up into the area, and they were
Mm-hmm.
in the high schools. And I
Yeah.
have, and both my kids actually graduated from Northside, both did. And one graduated in 2011, one graduated in 2015. There were gang issues then. So, this is not like New York City, LA kind of stuff, not even Charlotte, but it is there. And I think as citizens of Onslow County, we would be very remiss to adopt a very head in the sand approach to anything just because this is little Jacksonville, North Carolina. You can't say it will never happen here, because
Yeah, we've gotten beyond that.
yeah, we're
Right.
in society, we're way past that. We just have to be vigilant. We can't be, everybody, stop our lives completely, but you have to be mindful. But I think you have to put the things in place to kind of reduce this stuff. And I said it yesterday. I said it before, and then yesterday highlights. And I'm saying this as a mom, as a therapist, as a grandma, as a citizen of Onslow County. This shows, in my opinion, the necessary need for metal detectors in our middle and high
No, I
schools.
agree.
Those days of not needing them are gone. Charlotte has them in their schools. We are well past. Well, that's not the answer. It absolutely is the answer, because if you just go to clear backpacks, I could strap a weapon to my ankle. I could put it in my waistband.
Mhm.
I could hide it in my underwear. I could tape it to the small of my back. A metal detector would stop that, and even go one step further, make, single points of entry into the school, have the doors on, like a campus like Jacksonville, for example, there's a very open campus, or even like Northside, where the outer doors can't be opened from the outside, but only from the inside, and you have to come around to the front of the school to go in. Now, that's not to say you're not going to find somebody that's going to hold the door open or whatever, but it will cut back on that kind of thing. But I think some of this, state COVID money that has come in, and state, money for the schools, needs to be allocated towards metal detectors. And I don't think I'm not to the point, I don't think the elementary school needs them, but I definitely think our middle and high schools here.
Right.
Just remember back in the spring, we had a kid bring a gun to the middle school, one of the
That's
middle
right.
schools here in Onslow
Yes.
County. Like, we need the metal detectors, bottom line. No, they won't solve every little thing, but they're doggone well going to be a deterrent, period.
Only
Now,
problem I
this
see with
is,
that is we've spent all our money on a stupid emotion hearing and removing a Board of Education member. Look
Well,
at
I
the money
hope
we've
not.
spent
he
on
needed
that.
to be, he
Mm.
needed to be removed.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
but I don't know how much that costs. But
A
there's
lot.
other, yeah,
A
it
whole
did
lot.
a whole lot. That lawyer had to been not cheap
He
because, yeah, that
could
lawyer was
have
good.
done the American thing and
Yes,
and he's complained and griped
I
about
agree with you.
money,
Yeah.
the tax. Hold
Right.
on.
Mhm,
He's griped about the taxes. He's griped about this. He's griped about the spending.
mhm.
And how much did he cost the citizens of Onslow County?
I
Absolutely.
agree with you,
And we could have
100%.
taken that money to put in metal detectors.
I
That
think,
was
yeah,
that's all on him
mhm,
That's
and
right.
him alone.
yeah,
The school system had to do it the only way they could do it legally,
yeah.
and he alone cost the taxpayers of Onslow County. So send him a thank you note sometime.
Well, that's like when
Okay?
he called into the radio the last time, Rayford. To remember, we asked him, "Well, why don't you just go ahead and resign? Save everybody all of this."
Mhm.
And he's, "Nope, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, but I just think, and we, and Facebook yesterday and other social media was
Oh
just
man,
awash with stuff blaming the parents. You
blaming
can't
the
just blame parents. And I
right.
want to talk about something with that a little bit. You know, I was a very hands-on mom. I wasn't a helicopter mom per se, but you know, I had the house where all the kids hung out at. I knew where my kids were.
Hmm.
And I always knew who my kids hung out with in terms of their parents, their family values, whatever. And if something didn't feel right or I thought a parent's family values, didn't exactly align with mine, I was real selective about where my kid went.
Right.
And even then, but you can't simply blame the parents. But the other thing I will say is, as a counselor, I see this all the time. I'm here to tell you guys, not everybody thinks the way you do per
That's
se.
right.
And not every kid walking the schools of Onslow County has good parents. I'm sorry they don't. And it's very sad and it absolutely breaks my heart. And I wish I had the ability and the financial means to bring all these kids in to come live with me that, I know are being mistreated and I know have absent parents or parents that don't give a crap. But I don't have that, unfortunately. I wish I did. But, we have to be mindful that, and I don't know anything about who's involved in this. I don't know anything about their backgrounds. I have, what I've read on social media, and one of like the victim's family was supposedly, they're trying to do the right thing. I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
But we just have to remember that unfortunately, everybody's attacking parents. I'm sorry, guys, but sad reality is not every parent is involved. And I'm going to bring a case in point on that. Y'all know I talk about my beloved grandson.
Hmm.
He is 8 years old in the third grade. They had open house last week. My daughter and son-in-law took, him to go meet his teacher. This was his first foray into public school. I think it was more stressful for my daughter than him. But my daughter pointed out, and I heard her say it yesterday, um, it made her very upset to see. Now, these are third graders. How many parents were not there at the open house with their
Mhm.
children? She said when she was there were 4.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah, and she stayed a good while because y'all know my grandson's special needs, so she wanted to make sure the teacher was aware, and we don't want to make it less traumatic for him, but I really do believe it's more traumatic for my daughter. But he's had
Hmm.
a good week. But anyway, she said, and she kept waiting to see other parents come in and waiting, and even in the parking lot, she said it bothered her of how many at third grade were not at the open
Oh,
house.
but they'll sure show up at a school board meeting if they don't like something, won't
Mhm.
they?
Or they'll be on social media attacking.
Or
But how
That's where
involved?
that's where
Yeah,
they really show up, not at
yeah,
the school board meetings either,
yeah.
believe it or not.
They,
right.
they're like my daughter calls them Facebook parents,
Yeah.
where they're on Facebook posting
Yes.
everything is great and wonderful, but in reality, it's not. And believe me, I see that a lot with sometimes with children coming in for therapy, and the parents can't figure out why the kid are stressed out or having anxiety or they're depressed. But then when I start delving into it and I see how little family interaction
Right.
is happening, and I will be honest with you guys. Do y'all remember when that whole "it takes a village to raise,"
Right.
thing? And I thought this is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. But I'm honestly starting to see that concept. I mean, when I was a kid, and most of the people that lived on my street, they still live there. Like, obviously all the kids have grown up, but the adults are all still there. They're either dying off, but they're all, for the most part. I mean, my neighbor to my mom's left had been there since I was 3. The one to the right were there before we moved in. But anyway, I can promise y'all, if I did something wrong, Patsy was my mom's neighbor
Mhm.
to our left. Patsy would have kicked my butt and took names and then
Oh,
told
yeah.
my mama what I did wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I don't mean you go around beating people's kids, but even when my kids were young and their friends were always at my house, everybody knew what was expected and they knew the rules. And even if you didn't if you didn't do something at home, in Kelly's house, you did it that way. I think we need to go back to that. I mean, yeah, I don't want anybody putting their hands on my kids or anything like that, but we've got to stop saying not my problem.
Right.
These kids are influenced for the most part by social
All
media.
right, which brings up the same
Mhm.
point that I brought up so many
Yeah.
times.
Mhm.
When any crime occurs, when anything is suspicious out
Mhm.
there, you see something,
Mhm.
you say something, but you've
Yes.
got to say it to the right people.
That's right.
Social media ain't the right people. 911 is the right people.
That's
If you
right.
know if you know about your neighbor's kid doing some bad things,
Mhm.
call the neighbors, call your neighbor, call the
Mhm.
mama or the daddy,
Mhm.
and also 911. You don't have to stop with 911. You don't have to stop with the parents. You've got to, if you see something suspicious, if you suspect this guy is involved in gang activity, if your child tells you that this guy is a gangbanger, if your child tells you these people are doing this and this and this, then you need to call 911
And
because there's an organized effort
right.
to do harm to the citizens of Onslow County. Yesterday, case in point.
That's right.
And look at all, and the other thing, I go back, I say this, I said it yesterday to a parent. Y'all have got to monitor these video games these kids are playing. I had
They're
a
crazy.
7-year-old client list off the video games he was playing, and I literally almost fell out of my chair because I know what these games are.
Right. Yeah.
And there is no
There's murder
excuse
in
for
them.
a 7-year-old to be playing Grand Theft Auto
Theft.
at
Right.
all. At all.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Parents, y'all stop trying to be friends with your children and parent your children, but monitor what they're doing. Know who their friends are. Know who the friends' families are. And if it don't feel right, don't let your kid go. But I had a parent tell me the other day, "Well, I'm trying to be my kid's friend." No. And
No.
no, you are
can't be a
not. I
friend.
mean, you don't have to be I don't want you to be a tyrant.
Right.
Kids want love, but they want to know that one, that the parents have their back, but they also want to, they want these rules, but cut these video games off. I had a kid, this was a teenage kid now, that comes for therapy, write down for 2 weeks how much time he spent on video games
Wow.
and not interacting with his family, doing his
Mhm.
homework, well, school just started, but, other things. Oh my word.
Yeah.
And
Imagine.
in the psychology world, they're actually tossing around making a diagnosis for video game addiction. It's being
Wow.
talked about. It's not a thing yet, but it's coming. If there ever was a way for me to give this kid a diagnosis of dependency on video games, this kid would be at the top of the list. He spent so much time in front of the TV playing video games that I'm thinking, when do you interact with your family? And then I'm thinking, why? And I said, do your parents know you play? Yeah, they buy me the games. They pay. Why? Because parents are using video games to parent their children or
That's right.
That's
babysit.
it.
Yes. It's a
Yeah.
babysitter tool.
And that should
So
not be
instead of
happening.
banning guns,
Yeah.
ban video games.
Yeah. There you go.
Anybody under the age of 21,
Right.
you can't buy a beer legally. You can't drink any alcohol till you're 21. You can't buy a handgun till you're 21. You can't buy any kind of gun until you're 18. So if you can't do that, why should you be able to play these video games? Let's ban the video
Yeah.
games.
These video games are just dangerous. I mean, they just. I don't
Either
know.
that or put a tax on them that would make them prohibitive.
Yes. Well, that's a good thought too. Yes, we definitely need to do something. It's just like, 2 years ago when COVID broke out and people were sitting at home and couldn't go anywhere and do anything. There was no school. The kids were just sitting there 24/7 playing
Mhm.
these video
Go,
games.
for example, go to like a sporting event. So let's say, because let's say that parents are, their kid plays soccer, okay,
Right.
and they've got other siblings,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the one kid's playing the soccer, but the other siblings are to watch or whatever. Stand when you go to these things, watch the other children, the other siblings. Look how many on a phone, a tablet.
Yes.
How many I have seen infants, like 2 year olds, and that was a toddler. But anyway, toddlers, let's say I'm in a restaurant. What's the first thing a parent does? Opens their bag, pulls out a tablet, lets your kid play with that so they
And
can
you're in
eat.
a restaurant, you should
Hmm.
be more respectful for that than that, for one thing. I mean, sit there and enjoy your dinner and have some family
Well, look,
time.
here's the other thing. My daughter, and I'm not saying I was a perfect parent because I wasn't. If you'd asked my daughter, she would tell you my mama made a whole bunch of mistakes. She, but I,
Right.
tried to raise my children the best I could. And here's the other thing, and I raised them to do right and act right and know how to act in public. But when my grandson was little, they didn't go out to eat a lot. If your kid's screaming and crying in a restaurant, then don't take them out. Go out, get a babysitter, and go without them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
there's time and place for everything. And because one thing I can't stand to be in a restaurant with some screaming kid, but often it's the kid's bored, they're sick, they're tired. It's not just, oh, they're 2 or they're 4. No, but kids often are overlooked for their feelings. But you've got to, we as people, we have to do better. We have to do better because I was thinking about this whole Northside situation yesterday. It's not just the life gone of a kid, which is a tragedy in itself. And I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine what this kid's family is going through. They sent their kid off to school and he don't come back home. That is
Right.
awful.
That
But
is.
just think the stabber, he's ruined his life too. I mean, his
Not
life.
really,
Why do you say that?
because he is a juvenile, will get a very minimum sentence, and he will be out, and he won't be associating with the really bad people in prison. So he'll come out and be able to go and get his GED while he's in prison, baby boy prison, and over the next 3 or 4 years, and then he'll be back on the streets.
But what do you think's going to happen if that's the case,
He,
Rayford?
he doesn't care.
He's going to say, well, see, that wasn't so bad, so he'll just graduate to big boy prison.
I beat
Life's
the
still
system.
ruined.
I beat the system. Not for him. He's going to be in like, hey, look what I did.
Yeah, I brought up the North
He'd be a
Carolina
hero.
Judicial Branch website,
Mhm.
and it says they're considered children because they're under the age of 18. And when they engage in conduct that is inappropriate for minors but does not amount to a crime, such as running away from home, skipping school, they're considered to be undisciplined.
Yeah.
But when children engage in conduct that would be considered a crime if committed by an adult, that behavior is referred to as a delinquent act.
Yeah,
Yep.
but there are
Right.
some
That's
crimes
ridiculous.
that a 15,
Right.
6-year-old that they can be, even under North Carolina statute, they can be charged as adults. So we
Yes,
don't know they're not going to up these to
Right.
adult charges
we do not.
Yes.
because I think this
We do not
unfortunately
know.
warrants that.
We do not know what two of those
Hmm.
people. One of them's 16, two or
Hmm.
15, or is it the other way
No,
around?
116, 215.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so two of them, one of the 15-year-olds
Hmm.
could be the stabber. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
not saying. Those are questions.
Hmm.
So we won't know
It's
for a
interesting
while.
Well,
information they offer
let's
here.
take a quick break so we can come back and do some weather. Um, we're live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back and ready to tackle some weather.
That's
It's
right.
gonna be a good weather forecast here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Up first is your marine forecast, which is brought to you by Tideline Marine. With a team committed to the boating and fishing community, Elise and George have made it a priority to make sure your experiences are good ones. While it's not practical to tell you how to repair your motors, Tideline understands that there are many reasons you can do to save time and money. There are many things to do. That's one reason the ship's store has a variety of prepackaged do it yourself maintenance kits. Knowing too that today's outboard motors are much more complex than the Evinrudes of the 1960s, Timeline has a staff of factory trained and certified technicians to keep your engines running. Timeline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, conveniently located across from the Wildlife Boat Ramp in downtown Jacksonville. Open weekdays 8:30 to 6 and Saturdays 8:30 to 2. Today, east winds 5 to 10 knots, increasing 10 to 15 knots late, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 9 seconds. Saturday, east winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 7 seconds. And Sunday, east winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, with adjacent sounds and rivers with a light chop.
Today, mostly sunny, high of 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 70. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 87. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, low of 69. On Sunday, mostly sunny, a high of 87. Sunday night, cloudy, 69. And on Monday, mostly sunny, a high of 87. It's going to be a great Labor Day weekend.
Nice. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful weather.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Out there in the tropics.
Let's hear
there's
it.
A tropical storm, Danielle.
Preach it, Rayford.
And Danielle is out there. Danielle is way north, even of our latitude, a little bit north of our latitude. Has formed into a tropical storm. They think the winds are somewhere about 45 to 60 knots. So they're giving it an estimate. This is just based upon the satellite. They don't send airplanes out that far.
Right.
No reason to.
Yeah.
It's not posing any threat to anybody. Except maybe some surface fish or something, but they'll just die down underneath it.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to continue on its eastward, headed towards Europe.
It's going to go
which is
towards
weird.
Ireland. Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's a slow
not-
mover, 3
Yeah.
miles an hour.
Yeah, not doing much. And then in the next probably 72 hours or so, it's going to start to weaken.
Right.
72 to, I don't know, maybe 4 days out at the most. It'll start to weaken 96 hours. And then it's just going to dissipate because it's not going to be over warm water. It's still over warm water out there at this time. Then back we go down into the tropical Atlantic, just off the Leeward Islands. It's we got something. It's still there. It ain't moving much. It hasn't moved much in the last 3 days, but it's there. It does pose a potential threat based upon its current course of west-northwest of making impact in Bahamas, along the East Coast or whatever, but it's not likely to even develop into anything. That's what they're saying. It could totally dissipate. It could do a bunch of things. It could take on the course of Danielle over a few days and go northeastward just to get away from us. We don't know. Know. They don't know. They don't have a clue. Then back further, just off the coast of Africa, a few hundred miles, they got another thing out there, tropical disturbance number 2, and that one's increased some in being organized over the last few hours. It's still poorly organized. It's moving into an area of less favorable environmental conditions. So it's not expected to develop much at all. Over the next 5 days, the chance of forming into a tropical system, like a tropical depression or a storm, it's only 10%.
Right. I know the hurricane hunters are going out today to check that disturbance number 1.
Yep. Down there, they'll go down and check it out.
Yes.
It's close enough to Puerto Rico. They can send something out of Puerto Rico for it.
Right.
Anyway, that's about it in the tropics, and hopefully we'll get through this season unscathed.
Yes.
I'm hoping so. So we haven't had any impact here, so that's good, and no impact really in the continental United States. So
we've been very lucky. This
knock on wood. And they predicted it would be higher than normal. Now, of course, we haven't even reached. We got another 2 weeks before we get into the peak of the season in North Carolina.
Yes. Oh.
Rayford, I know you've been down there enjoying the diving life and
Mhm.
whatever, and
The good
you know, and I
life.
hit you up with this news, you know, that happened here yesterday, just to throw a monkey wrench into your good vibes you're having down there. But I
Mhm.
just saw something I wanted to ask you about because I know I won't
Shoot.
remember to do it next week, and it's something different. You know, Mikhail Gorbachev passed away earlier this week, and
Yep.
he's supposed to have a funeral tomorrow. Did you know that Putin is denying him a state funeral?
I read that.
I mean,
That's
that is, am I the only one that thinks that's just wrong?
mm-hmm.
Like, you know, what?
Well,
Oh, Putin is just awful. He's an awful human.
why do you think he's a human?
I know. Okay. Okay.
What are his
He's
What
an
are his
he's
human
an awful
characteristics?
thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You're right.
Hmm.
Yeah. I can't, I mean, you know, I don't think we would not do that here in the United States. I mean, that he was their leader at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? I just don't understand. I guess I can't because I can't. I have previously tried to put myself in the mindset of Putin, and I can't do it. I would love to do a psyche eval on him.
Oh, good
Yeah,
Lord.
I really would. I would. I've thought about that before.
You might need one
Yeah,
after
I
talking to
probably would.
him.
He is something else, but it just
Put some
bugged me. This
yeah,
really bugs me.
put bars between the two of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I don't know. Maybe
I just want to sit there and take
uh,
notes.
I'm just overly bugged by the fact that he's denying him a state funeral. That's just
Yeah.
I just and I don't know why I'm bugged by it, y'all. I just it's no reason for me to be bugged, but just grinds my gears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Unreal.
yeah. Understand? I don't understand it. So
let's go back to our White House.
okay.
All right. Well, we have a caller.
Wait, we have a caller. Hold on. Good morning, caller. Who's this?
My name's Tom.
Hey,
Well,
Tom.
good
How are
morning,
you?
Tom. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Tom sent me a message last night about some information, what he was going through with a break-in that he had with his in his house and some guns stolen, which involved some juveniles.
Oh,
And
wow.
you want to talk about it, Tom?
Yeah, well, this whole thing in Northside kind of set me off again. Uh, First of all, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe the school has done anything wrong. I don't think the school ever does anything wrong. The media does. The police don't do anything wrong. The problem is the parents and the judicial system, or the laws that create the judicial. This break-in of mine, it happened back in November, and even though the kids were confessed to the police, it took till I think May to go to court. What really bothers me was that all they got was a slap on the hand, basically. And the guns that were stolen, all they said was, "Oh, we threw them in the water," and there was no effort to go get the guns. We don't know if that's true or not, and we live on we're scared daily that you're going to come back and use those guns on us. And I'm just, uh, it just bothers me that, Don, we need to do something to stop these kids. This place is this school is a powder keg.
Tom, where do you live?
I'm
What
sorry?
county?
Yeah, what part of the county do you live in?
We're in the Bryn Mawr area,
Yeah, Bryn
and
Mawr.
in Jacksonville.
You're in the city. Did they say did the police tell you where the kids said they threw the guns?
They said in the water, is all they said.
Okay. Did you not give anything? They didn't tell you anything more specific than that?
No.
Okay. Um, Well, did you have serial numbers of those guns?
No, stupid me, no.
Oh,
gosh.
ouch. Well, they're going to be hard to trace them for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Okay. And I had one stolen, well, it's been 2 years ago or so now. They haven't gone to court yet because of the COVID. And they got arrested within a week or so. And luckily, they found a bunch of guns, not just mine, but they found a bunch of guns that had been reported stolen by other people.
Wow.
Yep. And mine had a serial number. So mine was easily traceable back to me. And they're going to court. I'm not in a big hurry to get it back. The only thing I request is to be there in court. I don't know that I suspect they'll plead guilty or whatever just to get away from the seriousness of this whole mess. But I want the parents to understand. This is what I want the parents to understand of these juveniles. Where were you when your kid was out at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Mhm.
Your 15, 16, 17-year-old rats were out. Do you think they were doing good?
Yeah.
What were you
Well,
doing? So
it starts before then, though.
I understand that, but I'm talking about on that night, on that particular evening, because easily, I could have shot your kid, not knowing he was a kid and not really caring. Catching him breaking into my place, your kid could be dead.
Yeah.
And I would not like it.
Well, my problem is I got very familiar with a good share of the JPD officers.
Mhm.
Almost to a person, they would tell us their hands are tied when it comes to these kids.
Wow.
And unfortunately, that's the case.
Yep.
They have to,
There is apparently some kind of law passed in the last 2 or 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and
2019.
if they're under 18, these kids, they can go out and steal a car, and all they can do is call mom and dad, say, come and get them.
Unreal.
And
Anyway.
it just enables these gangs, and there are gangs out there. We're talking Crips, we're talking Bloods.
Yeah.
It's bad, and they recruit.
Mm-hmm.
They recruit every day. They recruit another kid.
Do you have any more guns?
I've got one hidden away now. Yeah,
Do you have a serial number recorded on it?
I do now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That and a photograph of it.
Yeah. That's
Let me give you
what I
one
do.
more hint. If it's a handgun, take the sock off. Okay? Take the grips off and put your North Carolina driver's license number there. Put NCDL and
Right.
whatever the digits are. It's easier for the cops to trace that if they find it anywhere than any other way.
Good idea.
Yeah. Would you engrave that on there, Rayford?
Inside the stock,
Right, inside the
grip,
stock,
where
yes.
you can't see it.
Right.
Just get a little engraving tool. They're
Yep.
cheap,
Very-
vibrating engraving tool, and just carve it right in there.
Right.
That's a good idea. I need to do that.
Yeah. I need to do that
Yeah.
too. I never thought about
No, I
doing
did
that.
not.
I've
Y'all
got
guys ain't
pictures
worked
and-
in my field, have you?
Yeah. Well, Tom, I'm really sorry that happened to you, but it's a shame that they couldn't be, what body of water. We know a diver.
I
Money.
bet you money they didn't throw that
No,
in
they didn't
the,
throw 'em in the
water.
water.
Either
anywhere.
that was someone-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my thought.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would
yeah.
you take it and then just throw it in the water?
Yeah.
That's
no.
right. No,
That-
it's
that-
not in the water.
That gun's in somebody's car or
Right.
closet or whatever. It's going to be used in a crime or, nobody steals a gun and then throws it in the water.
Exactly.
They'll
No.
trade it for drugs.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
yeah. It could have been
That's
sold for
right.
something or traded or going to use wherever. But yeah, that thing is not in anybody's
What time
water.
did they break into your house during the daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime, and we were only gone for about an hour and a half.
Oh,
We had a bedroom door that was locked, and they broke it down.
wow.
It did a lot of damage.
My gosh.
And
Tom, the other thing I would suggest is we've got one. My wife had it installed. Well, I installed it, but she bought it. Ring doorbell.
Right.
You can go back and look at everybody that walked around.
Yep.
guess what we got now?
Wow.
Very good.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear this, Tom, especially living right there in Bryn Mawr.
Yeah, my daughter lives in Bryn Mawr.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you.
This holiday city they could burn that place down and not hurt anybody. It's bad.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, keep us posted.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Have a good day.
Thanks
I
for
just like
calling,
to get it
Tom.
out.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Ladies, I'm going to say goodbye. I
Okay.
gotta go get my
Yes.
stuff together. and
We
get
know
out of
you've
here.
got to
Well,
go.
you enjoy
for-
your final one.
your
and
final
yeah.
dives today.
So, yeah.
And then I will see you on Monday morning.
Yeah,
Both of
yeah.
you going to be there?
No, I won't be.
I will be.
You're not there, Kelly?
I'll be out of town.
Oh,
I'll be coming back from out of town, I should say.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to need some of your psychological advice.
We will talk.
Well, you'll
Yeah.
get that
We will
Tuesday.
talk. Yeah.
Have a
and-
good one.
Yeah.
But just
All right. Have
text
fun
us
today.
when you get back to
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
I'm gonna
so
text
we know
him
you're
tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
All right,
bye. All right. Let's take a break. Live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back, and we actually have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Who's this?
It is a very proud Democrat who is coming down from a high of listening to an amazing speech by his president yesterday. Who is? Did you watch?
I did
Did you
not.
see? I know you have a lot going on in Jacksonville, but
Yeah.
did you see any of it?
No,
I
I had to
saw
work
it.
late. Yeah.
I saw it, and I felt like I was in school being scolded by my teacher.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
No, I have not seen it at all.
Well, let's just go on record and say I'm not a MAGA Republican. I am a Republican, and I just felt like that whole speech was unnecessary.
What was his speech about? I mean, what
It was attacking Trump and the MAGA
But-
Republicans.
But I mean, where was it held from, and what was the point of a Thursday night speech? That's what I'm asking.
it was that in Philadelphia in front of the Independence Hall.
Okay.
Um,
Was this like Doug, was this like a planned speech, or was like, it wasn't like a State of the Union address or anything like that?
No. It wasn't like it. It wasn't anything like that.
it was
The
a
speech
political
was billed.
speech. It was a campaign speech. Let's
Oh.
get real.
It ended up being a campaign
Yes,
speech.
yes.
Yes,
Oh,
and
okay.
it had a little feeling of a rally to it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And so to break down the speech, he talks about here's why I'm at Constitutional Hall in Philadelphia. He's reminding us of the significance of that place, and that this was the site where some
Mhm.
brave Americans came together to talk about, to do something about the radical times of 1776, and took back a nation and formed We the People. So that's the start of it, and then he goes into this the threat that we face from the MAGA Republicans. And he's not talking about Lee. He's not talking about Kelly. He's not talking about Rayford when he's saying this. He's not talking about people who voted for Trump.
He's
And he
talking
says
about
that
like
very
Proud
clearly.
Boys, or-
Right.
Yeah.
The
He's
radical.
talking about
radical right.
yes.
I don't like
Yes,
the
and
Proud
I-
Boys.
No.
So.
I think generically I would say the Red Hatters, not just the Proud Boys, but people who have, and I've had private conversations with Rayford and where we've talked about there are some people on both sides, but it seems like it's more on the right, that are now in a position where they can't discern fact from fiction. And that's what he's talking about, in terms of the people he was going after and saying that these people present a threat to this country. But what I thought was brilliant was, I think what he was saying is important. It needs to be talked about. I think these people are out there and they are a genuine threat. I wish, I would have liked it if he was more like a fireside chat, if he was in a room looking in the camera one-on-one talking to the American people about this. The campaign rally I could have kind of done without, because he does
Right.
go into his accomplishments and stuff like that. But the more I think about it, the thing that I thought was absolutely brilliant is if you go on social media, you're going to see a lot of people who are going to say, well, I'm a mega Republican and I'm not apologizing. What he did is, politically speaking, whether or not this is good for the nation, but politically speaking, he just made the midterm elections a referendum on this red hat crowd. Are you going to stand with them, or are you going to stand against them? And with one swoop of the hand, he said, hey, this is not going to be about Black Lives Matter. This is not going to be about the Green New Deal or anything like this. This election is going to be about, are you with the red hats or are you not with the red hats? And that's what he framed the whole election at. And it's amazing is the people that he did this to he offended them. And you can go online and see how horribly he offended them. But they took the bait. They're taking the bait. They're amping it up. And I think it's anyone who's predicting a red wave. I will tell you right now that the Democrats will gain seats in the Senate. And I think the House is going to be, I would still think the Republicans have an advantage in the House, but I think it's going to be a much closer race. And if you look at this summer and everything that's happened in this summer, it's been a very good summer for Democrats. When you look at the abortion issue has swung their way.
That's right.
And I think that's going to generate people to the polls.
I agree with
I
that.
think,
Right.
I think that they have made, whether it was planned or not, The timing of this January 6th hearing has made Trump again the issue in this election, even though he hasn't been in office 2 years.
Yeah,
I think gas prices are going lower. I think people are sensing that the economy is picking up. And so, in a brilliant way, if you would have said this a year ago, people would have been voting on Afghanistan and Joe Biden's own agenda. He politically very smartly has moved this into, this is about Trump and those red hatters, and are we going to stand up against him? I thought, from a political point of view, I think there's a lot of Democrats waking up thinking, wow, he's a fighter, and he's taking it right to their face.
Well, I have to agree with some of what he said last night, but I just feel like that this was all a political ploy to gain advantage and to capitalize on the fact of the abortion law being overturned. And the Republicans, he's accusing the Republicans of not giving the people the right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. And so I feel like he used the MAGA Republicans to go after all Republicans. That's the way I felt.
Yeah, and I think who he's trying to go after in this speech, and if he gets these people, it's going to be overwhelmingly, the Democrats will do very well.
Right.
There is a certain number of people on your side of this 78 million. And the people that we're talking about that he's attacking, it's not 78 million. I think
Right.
it's maybe a third of that.
Exactly
it's maybe
what you're
20
saying.
million.
Yes.
Yeah. He's trying to attract the people who voted for Trump, and this happens in every election. You vote for someone kind of holding your nose, saying, I don't like his tweets, I don't like his personality, but I've always voted Republican, so I'm going to vote Republican now. He's going after the people who held their nose, and you're right. Was it politically? Of course, it was political.
Right.
It was
That's
a campaign
why your
rally.
networks wouldn't even show it last night. You had to go to a.
That's right. This was not a presidential address.
That's
this was a rally similar to all the ones that we saw Trump hold throughout his time in office, and even today to some extent. So, but I think we now have if he's able to define the election as it's us versus the red hatters, the Democrats will do very well. Because I know Republicans. I suspect right now I'm talking to two Republicans who fit into this category, who are kind of embarrassed by some of the more extreme elements of their party. And if you can make the election about their extreme as opposed to our extreme elements, then you've done pretty well.
Well, did you want to hold on a minute?
Hold on
We
one
have
second.
to take a Fox News
that
break.
Fox News 60
Sure.
second
All
break.
right, hold on.
All right, we're live and local real talk. Be back in 60 seconds. All right, we're back, and on the line we have Doug, who Rayford refers to as our lovable liberal.
Our lovable liberal.
Yeah.
And Kelly refers to me as the hot liberal, which I think is kind of strange.
And I have to say, that picture that you put on Facebook of
with the
Littlefoot,
dog. Oh my god,
he's gotten huge.
He is huge.
No, it was an optical illusion. It really, I mean, he's sitting on my lap, and I'm in the background by
Okay.
about 2 feet. So
Well,
his
he
head,
looks like
I mean,
he's
he's,
like 9
he's about
feet
a
tall.
60-pound dog. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He is
Oh,
adorable.
that dog is. He has. For those who don't know, Doug has an old. He's an old English sheepdog, right, Doug?
Yeah, it's not a doodle. If
He
people
looks
are
like a
listening with
doodle.
a doodle,
He's an old
yeah,
English
that's not a
sheepdog.
real dog.
Yeah.
I've got a real dog.
I
Yeah.
remember when Doug got it. This dog is
Right.
the cutest dog. Oh my goodness, he's very cute. So, yeah. And Doug likes to torture me by calling him Little Fonda, and Doug knows that drives me insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In fact, she was on a talk show the other night, and when I saw her come on, I turned the channel.
Yeah. Doug does that just to torture me. But
yes, he does.
But Doug, you're right. I mean, and I've said before, there was things about Trump that I did like when he was president. But what I can tell, I have said this a million times. I did not like the tweeting. I did
not like that.
like the
I
tweeting.
did not like the bashing of
Yeah.
good Americans who didn't
Yeah.
deserve it.
I did not like. And I wouldn't like that no matter who did it.
That's right.
It's
That's
just,
the way I look at it,
It's
too.
just not the place. I don't even like it. A lot of times locally when people are bashing other people like that. I
Right.
mean,
I feel like towards the end that he was becoming a threat to our national security
Mhm.
with some of the stuff that he was doing and tweeting and talking about publicly. I mean, I know he was different, and I know people were excited about having a non-political figure
Yeah, which I'm
in the
I'm
White
cool with
House.
that.
I'm
Yeah.
cool with that, but I don't foresee going forward with Donald Trump because I just foresee if he was to run again and say he did get elected, which I don't think he will.
I don't think he'd get
Because
elected.
I think the
No.
base majority of the Republicans are
Yeah.
looking for somebody different.
I agree.
But if he was to get in there, we'd spend the next 4 years nothing but investigations and lawsuits
And fighting
and
this,
fighting,
yeah.
and
No, I
nothing
agree.
would get done.
I agree.
Nothing would
Yep.
get done.
Mhm.
So I just think it's time for the door to open to somebody strong on our side,
Mhm.
somebody that can bring the respect and dignity back to the White House in the presidential, in the Oval Office. I just believe that we're lacking that. The nation has lost a lot of respect for each other because our leader was there. Look what he did to John McCain. He was a POW. Did we need to go on there and bash him and make light of that?
Well, I knew John McCain. I don't know if you've seen that pictures of me and him.
Yes,
He's a
yes.
good dude.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, whether you agree with him politically or
Yeah.
not, he was a POW and he
Yes.
suffered torture. And to get on national TV and make light of the fact that was the last straw for me.
Let me ask you, Lee, a question because
Yes.
you're a former county chair, correct?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to let me tell you what I credit that I will give to Trump is I have noticed on Facebook and social media that when Trump came around in 2015, that people who I've known my entire life who never had an interest in politics suddenly were interested in politics.
Yes.
And he, to his credit, Donald Trump spoke to people in a language they could understand and got them excited and got them into the system.
Yeah.
I always thought that there was kind of like the established Republicans thought, okay, good, he's bringing people into the system. We can control him. And I think that a lot of these people who are brought into the system are now, this monster that you may or may not have created is now taking over the party. That's the sense that I'm getting. And I'm wondering first off, let me ask you both. Do you know people who are to the point of no return?
Yes, I do.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
I think we all do.
Yep.
Okay. And are those the ones who are now, whether in Onslow County or throughout the state, are those the ones that are now in the positions of running the party? Or how much influence do they have in the day-to-day operations
I would
of
say
the party?
they have a lot of influence. They have, a lot of influence. Not actually running the party, but creating division within the party. And I see that locally, statewide, nationwide.
I don't like the couple people I'm thinking of do not live here in Onslow. They're from my home county. No, they just they are not any position of authority. They are just very beyond diehard Trump supporters.
Mhm.
I don't know what I would call that, but yeah.
And if
Yeah.
these folks, whether in Onslow County or other parts, wherever you're from originally, Kelly,
Rockingham
if
County.
they were to hear,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep, I'm from Rockingham County. Yeah.
That's off 74, 76, right?
Yes.
It's
Well,
up
that's
by
way I would
no.
go.
I'm from up by north of Greensboro, north of Guilford County.
Right.
Yeah, Rockingham
Okay,
County.
all
It's
right.
right off of 29 and 220. In
All right, I
between
think there's
29
a
and 220.
Rockingham,
There's a
North
Rockingham,
Carolina.
North
Like,
Carolina. That's by where the Speedway is. Yeah,
okay, yeah, that's what I
I'm
was.
up by
Okay,
Mount Airy in the foothill of the mountains.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. If they were to hear you say what you guys are saying this morning,
Oh,
would you be dubbed a rhino?
Yes,
Yes.
I've been dubbed a rhino,
oh, I
even by
already have
people
been
here.
dubbed a
Yeah,
rhino. I've
yeah.
had videos made about me.
Same here.
I've had
Yeah,
Facebook posts made about me.
same here.
Whatever is all I can say.
So have these folks hijacked your party?
I would say not. No, I would say they just create division, but I don't think they've hijacked the party. I feel like the Republican Party needs to get out and start moving and start, coming out. And it's just, I'm kind of disappointed with the party right now. And I mean, nationwide. It just seems like we're sitting back and not saying anything or doing anything. And we need to focus on the key issues for this midterm election, like inflation and gas prices, stuff like that. That's where our focus needs to be. And it doesn't seem to be there.
And that's exactly what the president did last night. Is he
Right.
said, we're not going to make this election about gas prices. We're not going to make it about inflation. We're going to make it about these people. And if he can do it, I think he'll be successful. But I would say this to you, or I would ask you guys this: is there a possibility, in any way, shape, or form, that there's an opening in the middle for a third party to be created? I think we can say listen. We're no different than you guys. We've got extreme elements on our party. They don't go around wearing, same colored hats or anything like that, but we
Right.
have extreme elements. You guys have extreme elements. Is there a possibility of something developing in the center?
Well, I think if the landscape of the democracy continues the way it has become right now, with the unaffiliated voters more or less taken over.
I think unaffiliated.
I
taking
think
over. Yeah.
that eventually you may see a third party. I don't think right now, but I think eventually you may see one.
Being the unaffiliated.
Being the unaffiliated, yes.
I could see that. I don't know what
I
their
think
platform
people,
would be,
if
but
all this
yeah.
division within our country continues, you're going to see that party grow more and more.
well,
and
I
more.
have family that have left the Republican Party, and
Right.
you got to understand, my family's
My
been
friends have
Republican since
left
they
it,
came over
right.
from Ireland. So, I mean,
I have friends
yeah.
that have been in a strong position within the party,
yeah,
dealings and offices and stuff, that has gone over to unaffiliated
yeah.
now.
Mine
They're
went over to
tired of the
unaffiliated.
fighting.
Yeah,
They're
that's what they're
tired
tired
of
of.
the
nonsense.
division.
Yes, that's what. Yeah,
And as a Republican, when you go into that poll to vote, nobody really knows who you're voting for. It's
That's a true
between you and
statement.
your God,
yeah, because you can't. No one can see your ballot. Yeah,
Right.
agreed.
Right. So, and I will say there might have been a time in the past where I might have split my votes a little bit, but I base my votes on who I think is the best person for the job.
Yeah,
So
Such
I
a
guess that
rhino.
makes me a rhino.
Such a rhino.
I'm such a rhino.
voting
See, I can
voting on
say
the
that now.
but
individual.
here's the funniest part of this whole rhino thing. Some of the people here in Onslow, and I'm gonna speak for Onslow,
Yes.
that
Bring
have
it
been spouting the rhino nonsense used to be registered Democrats.
up until recently.
So to that I
Yeah.
say, so who is really the rhino here? And
That's right.
there's two that I'm thinking of in particular that I am fully convinced, and you'll never tell me otherwise,
They're
that they are plants in
Yep.
here designed to tear the Onslow County Republican Party up,
Oh, I
and they're
believe
not
that
really
too.
Republican. And you'll never convince me that is not a true thing.
Well, I'll convince you right now, we're not that smart.
Well, this
We're
one,
just
I
not
just say-
that
this one,
smart
though,
to organize
Well, I would say
that.
that people trying to do it aren't smart either.
no, but this the one I'm thinking of actually used to be a Republican, and I'm fully convinced they're a plant.
yeah,
So anyway,
they just
Yeah.
cause a lot of
Well,
hate.
when they find out you came out this morning for a village, Kelly,
Yeah.
you're done.
Well,
I'm past
but here's
worrying
the
about
thing.
them.
you know what I have to say about that is, I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, and I, I deal with very complex cases. A lot of times I've done, dealt with, it's not just anxiety and depression. I do a lot of trauma, um, a lot of trauma. And, I deal with child sexual assault, and I've dealt with rapes and, horrific abuse, both adults and as child abuse. I mean, so I see, a lot of things a lot of people don't see. And I deal with a lot of family entities. And I, used to never think about this whole takes a village. And I think in the right context, it is a good philosophy to have. Not in, in some contexts it's not, but in the right way, absolutely it is. But I mean, and that's,
Well,
and I blame that, based on, what I have, seen with people coming into therapy.
well, I will tell you, as a former single parent,
Mhm.
and I'm still a parent, and I'm still single, but I'm more in that advisory role as a parent these
Right,
days.
right, yeah,
That I think back of when my son was young, and I would be, struggling with traffic just to get home to make sure I'm there when the bus comes at 2:30. Because if I'm not, they won't drop him off.
yeah,
Thank God I had these almost adopted grandparents who lived 2 doors down that I could call and say, "Could you just go out to the bus stop?" And they loved my kid like he was his own grandkid.
right, right.
And thank God there was a community of people who cared about my son. Yeah, I can't believe the phrase ever became political. And frankly, if it would have come out of Dr. Phil's mouth as opposed to Hillary Clinton's, people
Yeah.
would have embraced it.
Yeah,
But I mean, of course, it takes a village. Of course, no parent can do it alone. As a mom, and that the years fly by, but the days are long when you're when you're a parent. And just to get through it, you need the help of others. If you live around your extended family and they can pinch hit for you, that's great. If you're a transplant like I am, my prayer for you is that you can find a community of people who will embrace your family and help you get you through it, whether you're a single parent or not. And I don't think it's a radical view that
I
we
think
need a
it was,
village.
but Nancy Reagan even talked about that,
Right.
back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a new concept. I think it became whatever, but I think there's some things we need to get back to. And I think like I said before, I think we need to get back to parents knowing what their kids are up to and monitoring their kids' video games and monitoring the stuff they watch. And my God, monitoring the lyrics of the songs these kids are listening to. I mean, if some of this stuff will just make your skin crawl. And because these kids are listening to it over and over again, they're becoming desensitized to it. And they're not taking into account that this is not like Roadrunner or Bugs Bunny, where,
Right.
the Wile E. Coyote is blown up and then all of a sudden he's back to, doing something else. Stabbing and death is forever.
Right.
I mean, shooting is
Well, yeah.
forever.
That's right.
Beating somebody into a coma and brain damage, that's forever.
forever.
You don't recover a lot of times from that kind of thing. But these kids are so desensitized because of video games and movies and song lyrics that we need to get back. Parents need to be taking some control back and taking some control back over their kids. It's not completely up to the school system to, parent these kids.
Absolutely. And I saw a lot of people blaming the school system
And
yesterday.
the only
No,
thing I think
it was just a location of where it
yes,
occurred.
and this could have happened at the mall.
That's
This
right.
could have happened in the neighborhood. It could have happened at the bus stop. It could have
That's
happened in
right.
church. I mean, it's a whole lot of places it could have happened at. But I do think the school, everyone needs to work together. I think this is what I've been trying to get at. We need to work together. And I do think in this day and age, metal detectors in middle and high schools should be a thing.
I think so too.
I mean, we're
I
what
think so.
it's not. I graduated high school in 1987.
Right.
Okay, we didn't have a need for them then.
Right.
But
No, we
things have
didn't.
changed. It is not like it was when I was a kid. It's just not, and it's never going to go back to that way.
And will it prevent having metal detectors prevent any type of tragedy? Maybe not.
But it will
it's
deter.
it's a preventative tool.
Correct.
And you keep adding those tools as the need arises, and you just keep doing it.
Because you could argue if that metal detector had been there in that school
Right.
yesterday, would that kid have been able to have that knife in the school? Well,
That's
we
right.
don't know for sure.
No, we
Nothing
don't.
is absolute. Nothing
No,
is.
Nothing
But I
is.
think it would have deterred.
Well, and it gives him one more hurdle to get around in order to
Right.
pull off what he's planning on pulling off.
Yeah.
It may not have stopped him, but then
you gotta
then he
go
has
to
to
more
figure out how am I
lengths.
going to get around
Yeah.
it.
It's just like
he has to go to greater lengths.
Yeah.
it's just
And you're absolutely
Okay.
you're absolutely right in the sense that it could have happened anywhere.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And all I know from what you guys are saying is what I heard in your conversation with Rayford. That's the first time I heard about the incident of yesterday. But I will say that it probably happened at a school because that's where they had access to each other.
That's right.
In
Yes,
in the
right.
sense that you know, if you're talking about kids that age, they may not have the ability to go across town. It certainly doesn't sound like this was a random attack
No, it
from
was
what
not
I'm hearing
random.
from you guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So there was somebody I'm out to get, and where do I see this person every day?
Yeah.
Well, I
at
see him in school. I see him in the
That's
third hour. I see him in whatever
Yeah.
time, you know, in the hallways and stuff like that. You know, it's similar to, this is going to sound horrible to say, but if you want to do a mass shooting, you got to go to places where there are mass people.
Correct.
You know,
Yes.
you have to go to concerts and
Yeah.
churches and
Concerts, churches,
and-
malls.
Right.
Yes.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't do a mass shooting, in a backyard gathering of 4 people. I
No.
guess you technically
Exactly.
could,
That-
but
You
you
know,
need,
but that doesn't. It's not going to have the same impact. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, and you're 100% right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
well, we got to take a break, but thanks for
Yeah,
calling,
thanks
Doug.
for calling,
You have
Doug.
a good
I hope
weekend.
my favorite rhinos. I mean that
Oh, my
sincerely.
goodness.
Well, I'm glad we're on the good side
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good weekend.
Yeah. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Happy Labor Day, too.
Happy
You
Labor
too.
Day.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take our very quick commercial break. Live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back, and I know we have 2 callers holding. We're going to knock this weather out real quick and
That's
get to
right.
our callers. So take it away,
Okay,
Lee.
let's start with marine forecast. With a
Yes.
team committed to the boating and fishing community, Elise and George have made it a priority to make sure your experiences are good ones. While it's not practical to tell you how to repair your motors, Tideline understands that there are many things that you can do to save time and money. That's one reason the ship store has a variety of prepackaged do-it-yourself maintenance kits. Knowing too that today's outboard motors are much more complex than the Evinrudes of the 1960s, Tideline has a staff of factory trained and certified technicians to keep your engines running. Tideline Marine, 159 Bridge Street, conveniently located across from the Wildlife Boat Ramp in downtown Jacksonville. Open weekdays 8:30 till 6 and Saturdays 8:30 to 2. Today, east winds 5 to 10 knots, increasing 10 to 15 knots late. Seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 9 seconds. Saturday, east winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 7 seconds. And Sunday, east winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet.
Today, mostly sunny, high of 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 70. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 87. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, a low of 69. Sunday, sunny, high of 87. Monday, sunny, high of 87. It's going to be a great Labor
Yay,
Day
beautiful
weekend. Y'all,
weekend.
no rain as
Beautiful.
of now. I mean, this
I have
is
to mow the
it's
yard when I go
amazing.
home.
Yeah, it's going to be good. All right, caller. Hello, caller. Who's this? Okay. Caller,
This
who's
is
this?
Howard.
Hey, Howard.
Hey,
How are
Howard.
you?
Well, I'm worked up today, guys. This is
Uh-oh.
the very first time ever since I've been listening to you. I'm worked up.
Why?
And I'm so worked up that my little guardian angel canine just put her chin in my lap because she knows
Oh,
that
so
I'm
nice.
really cranked up. Normally she sits up when I'm driving,
Right.
but not this time. Anyway,
What do you
here
want?
it is.
What's up?
Okay, I caught some of the so-called speech that Biden gave, and I want to preface this by saying I come from a county in Wisconsin that is so conservative. They used to make a joke about it, saying that if the Lord came down and ran for county executive, he would not even get more than 5% of the votes. That's how bad it is.
Oh wow.
And oh yeah, big. It makes Onslow County look liberal. That's how conservative this county is.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not a MAGA supporter or anything like that.
Mhm.
I'm a Republican,
So
die in the
thank you.
wool.
That's how I am.
That's me.
Yeah.
When I was 25, well, I think it was 20. I was in my 20s when Ronaldo Maximus was president. I had my picture taken with him, and it was one of my most prized possessions that I have is standing next to President Reagan. And the thing about it is, I was part of the Young Republicans at the time, and I paid $125 for that picture, and believe me, it was worth every penny. But I believe that anybody that's in this country has the right to their own opinion, and I'd be the last one to berate somebody because of how they feel, if they feel different than I do.
Right.
But I'd like to ask some questions of the people that are left wing that do call in on the radio show.
Okay.
And the first one is, do they stand with Hunter Biden and his prostitutes and his drugs and his corrupt business dealings? And do they stand with the corrupt or the partisan parts of the FBI? Do they also stand with the partisan Justice Department? Not all of the departments are partisan. There are some that follow the law, but there are also some that are pro-Democrat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How about, do they stand with Black Lives Matter
Mm-hmm.
and Antifa and all the corrupt things that the Biden crime family has done since they've taken office? Having Hunter Biden and his family go on vacation at my dime? Or do they stand with the United States Constitution? That's what I stand for. I look at the Constitution in its own way, not exactly like it, but like the Bible. If it's not
Thank
in the
you.
Bible, I don't believe it. If
Thank
it's not
you.
in the Constitution, I don't believe it.
And
So
Howard, I feel like most Americans feel the same way
I
now.
think they do.
I think
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
And I think that this midterm election is going to surprise a lot of people.
right, but you know what? The thing is, my uncle died liberating Germany. Died against the fascists. Those were fascists,
Right.
and I feel like this guy called me a fascist last night,
I felt the
and I
same
am not.
way. I mean, I
Right,
agree.
I'm not a Trump supporter.
Right. I felt the same way. I'm not a MAGA Republican, but yet I felt like
No,
I was being admonished for being a Republican. I really felt offended. I mean, I understand what his
now,
message was about, but I felt offended.
Hmm.
now you know who I support. I've never told you this before for president. It may shock you, but I'm a 100% supporter and would donate money to her campaign, Nikki Haley.
Yes.
Oh, I like her.
That's
like
who
her
I
too.
support.
Yeah.
We have to get somebody some fresh blood and get the emphasis off of Trump and put the emphasis back on Biden and all the stuff that he's done bad since he started over. You know, that was all their plan. Remember how they got gas at $5 a gallon here, $7 or $9 in California?
Yeah.
Everybody was outraged.
Yeah.
Then they bring it down $2 or $3, in our case $2, and they're getting used to it. I just filled up in Maysville today because of my 3-cent discount for $3.36,
Mhm.
and I'm sitting there,
Wow.
wow, that's good.
Yeah.
And then I said, a little voice in my head said, Howard, have you lost your mind?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
$3.36 a gallon. So I'm really, and poor little girl, she still got her chin in my lap. She knows I'm
Oh.
cranked up this morning.
Well, that's like
So
the part of his speech last night when he went on to say that the nation's in the best shape it's ever been. And I'm
Oh, no,
thinking,
that's a lie,
what
dude.
nation are you referring to?
Yeah.
Because
We are
my
not in
nation,
this. No.
inflation has skyrocketed, gas prices are still high.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, what nation is he talking about?
We are not in the best shape we've ever been
No,
in.
we're
I mean, we
not.
are not.
Right.
Nowhere near.
Mm-mm.
And have not been for a very long time. Let's be real. So, oh my
I
word.
fought for this country, and I'm severely handicapped as a result of it.
Mhm.
And I love this country, and
Mhm.
I would take a bullet for Biden. I really would if it came down to it, because he is the president. Even though I feel sometimes like he's not my president, but he is the president. But the bottom line is, we got to do something to get this situation turned around. And it's certainly not the way he talked last night. I mean, he called
Yeah.
75 million people fascists.
Right.
Does he even know what a fascist is?
Well, I think we'll wait and see what happens this week, and if you don't see some of those MAGA groups react to this.
I saw on Western Boulevard, somebody had a bumper sticker. You know what it said? Impeach Biden and her husband too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, I have not seen that one.
Oh,
I have
wow.
not seen
Huh.
that. Yeah.
Let's think about
did you
it.
see? But you didn't
Several
watch it.
times,
Go ahead.
several times she's spoken up, and I think she's running the show. To be honest with you.
Hey, Howard, did you see him at the very end of the speech last night when he turned sideways like he was getting ready to shake somebody's hand and there was nobody there?
Oh yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that was kind of strange. And then he just held his hand out then when he realized it, in my opinion. And then, you know, he was just like making it look like he was showing his wife which way to go. But that was really strange.
Well, he's going to definitely be a one-term president.
Yeah,
That's all I can
I
say.
feel so, I feel the same way. One term, and I don't.
And when
think,
you look at the squad and other elements of the Democratic Party, the far left, these guys are communists. He
Well,
called them
Agree.
fascists.
There's a lot of socialist agendas. I agree that they're
Well,
being
you've got
trying
a
to be
lot of
promoted. Yes.
Democrats that
Yes.
feel the same way
Yeah.
about the squad
Mhm.
and some of their
Yeah.
Democrats. So for the Democratic Party to think they have 100% complete support, no, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not there.
Whatever happened to the Dixiecrats?
I don't know. They're making a comeback. They were on a talk show just the other day, which I didn't watch. I
Oh, wow.
turned. But
You know, like they call people rhinos.
yeah.
Well, the Dixiecrats are basically Republicans with a Democratic title.
Right. I don't even worry about that word rhino anymore. I know I do my duty as an American citizen and I go vote. and I vote
Yeah,
according to who I think is the best person for the job. So
I'm the same way.
That's
I'm
right.
the same way.
and I think we've gotten away from that.
It's like that. Oh my God, I forgot her title, but I voted for her. The lady that investigates corruptions in departments. She's a Democrat.
In the federal government or
No, she's in the state. In the state.
in the
Like for instance, if there's
state.
something fishy going on within a county or something, like she'll come in there and go through the books and find out if there's any nonsense going on. Well, Rayford is the one who turned me on to her, and I researched it. Even though Rayford said it, I still researched it, and she was fabulous, and I voted for her, and she was a Democrat. She is a Democrat. So, but that's going back to saying I vote for the best person for the
Right.
for the job. I wish I remembered her name, but I don't think she's up for a re-election. I think she's in there for a couple of years because she just got. Rayford would know who it is. But anyway, that's what I had to say today, girls. You know, I'm sorry if I got a little bit hot under the collar, but I'm steaming right now.
You need to stop
I was gonna.
and get your baby.
I was
a
going to
pup
wait till
cup.
Monday. I was going to wait till Monday to call you guys to like cool off. But then I'd be afraid that I forget some of the points that I wanted to make.
oh no, that's fine.
I
I'm
understand.
still waiting for us to set our date to meet over
That's
at
right.
the memorial.
Yes, I know.
I forgot.
definitely know.
Yeah, I'm giving you your space, but I'm gonna start.
I
I'm
know.
gonna start prodding you a little bit, just so you know.
Well, let's all meet for lunch.
Honestly, I am going to probably highly embarrass myself.
No, you won't. Trust
never
me.
mind.
You
Yeah.
haven't been over there. You won't because nobody will think anything of it. Trust me.
Right.
Trust me.
And I've had friends that are veterans ask that I need closure and that they would take me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
You're the
Well,
only
we knew
person I
that,
think I would do it with because I just feel very comfortable with you
I will
as
take
far
you.
as
We will go.
you know.
We'll go together. We will go together.
And my little canine angel's got to go too.
Oh,
that's
she
for
absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
That's a
yes.
prerequisite. You can't.
Yeah.
I won't let you go if she can't be there. So no, she'll go too.
No.
Yeah.
She has to be there.
Absolutely.
She has to be
Yeah.
there.
But
But
trust me
anyway,
when I say
when
you'll be fine.
are the Republicans going to start fighting back? And I mean, by fighting back, I mean throwing some of the stuff out there that needs to be thrown out, and not just hearing how evil we are and stuff like that.
You know, Lee and I were just talking about that. I agree. I don't know. They should have already been doing it.
That's like
yeah,
I'm
I
so
don't know.
tired of on TV constantly commercials for Democrat, people that are running for positions like Sherry Beasley. She has a commercial on there 25 times a day.
Yeah.
I have not seen anything for Ted Budd yet. I just feel like we're sitting back and we're not coming out like we should.
I don't know why, but Howard, you're right. I don't know. They should have already been doing this.
Howard, was it Beth Woods, the state auditor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beth Woods, the state auditor.
Yeah.
That's her.
Royce
and
just
she's fantastic. I wouldn't vote for anybody else. As long as she runs, that she's got my vote.
Yeah, Royce just texted me that name because I was sitting there trying to think, but I could not.
You know
think of
what?
that name.
She's the definition of nonpartisan.
Right.
She is the definition of. She does her job. She doesn't care Republican, Democrat. If you're crooked, you're gonna pay.
Right.
That's what her philosophy is. So
exactly.
But anyway. Thank you for the forum. I appreciate it. I think that's the longest I've ever talked to you guys.
Well, now that you're calmed down, go get your baby a little pup cup or something.
Yeah, she needs.
I'm petting her head and driving with the other hand.
Yeah,
okay, all right, there you go. Be careful out there.
You're my angel. She is my angel. And she just looked up at me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, you have a great weekend.
You have a good weekend.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I could never have you guys babysit because she's got to be with me all the time. But I think once you see her, you're probably never going to want to let her go.
Oh, goodness.
So, but anyway, and I'm glad that you guys are insisting on Littlefoot's name instead of that other name. Oh my God!
No, it will. That dog's name is Littlefoot. It will never be the other thing. If I ever see Doug in person, I'm gonna wash his mouth out with soap, just for saying that. So,
Jane Fonda is the #1 enemy of the United States veterans.
Yes. My father-in-law did 3 tours in Vietnam. My uncle did 2, and it left him a very scarred and horribly broken man. And I
Yeah,
absolutely despise Jane Fonda. I
Mm.
despise her with
right,
every fiber of my being. Every fiber of
right,
my being. I despise.
right.
She is a traitor to America. Bottom line. Bottom line.
They should have thrown
Yeah,
her out of the country
they
and
should
taken
have.
away her citizenship, as
Yes.
far as I'm
Yes,
concerned.
I agree. 100%.
But I'm the same way. I did 2 tours, and I'm a broken man,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
So
You
Well,
and I are going
we're
to have to have
here
a
for
talk.
you.
anyway,
Yeah, we're going to talk one day, Howard.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm, really, really thinking I need to see you professionally.
That's fine. Like I
So,
said, we'll talk. I'll get up with you.
all right. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
All
Bye,
right. Have a
Howard.
good
You guys
weekend.
be safe this weekend.
You
Yes,
too.
you
Bye
too.
bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's take a break. We're live in local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. I don't know why, but that song just makes me
I
happy.
know you just
I love that song. I don't know why. I
I like
love
the
it.
very first one when we
Yeah.
start the show,
Yeah.
like the explosion. I'm
Yeah.
like, here we
Yeah.
come.
Yeah. Like that song just, I don't know. I like
Hey,
it.
don't forget tomorrow, 2:17 p.m. is the projected time for the Artemis 1 to
Let's
take
hope
off,
so.
to
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah.
I
Let's
know
hope so.
I'll be somewhere helping somebody, but I'm gonna plug my phone in and watch it at the same time.
Good. Um,
I
and
certainly hope it goes off without a glitch.
and we have a caller. Good morning, caller. Who's this?
This is Joy.
Hey, Joy.
Well, hi, Joy.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. How are
Morning.
you?
Doing good.
What's up?
Real quick, going back to the school incident, real quick.
Mhm.
Prayers go out to the victims and the
Absolutely.
school for what happened yesterday. In my opinion, only of course, I sadly have to say that I really don't see how there's any way that we really can really stop what's going on or what will go on, what type of prevention that can stop this from happening. Um, unless you can go into a bathroom and guys can jump you in there and beat the pulp out of you without anyone even knowing. You would have to have monitors in there. I mean, you've got hallways. I mean, there's so many different things that can happen, and there's just so much evil in the world today, and so much, and parents blaming the school. I mean, a lot of times the parents are the ones that really need to take control of their children, and I'm not blaming all parents. And sometimes I know that when you try to teach them, and then they get with the wrong crowd, and then it just goes wacko.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I think blaming the school is not the answer. The school was just a location, but
exactly.
I think you have to work there. But I think the school's part of the role or thing they could do to prevent, like I said, is put the metal detectors in. I still
Right.
maintain as well uniforms
Oh
because
yes, most definitely.
I will say it again, and I will never stop saying it. Uniforms would cut down on a lot of bullying and stuff.
I agree.
Because, and I mean, you don't have to do like a parochial school uniform like you see on the movies,
Mhm.
but khaki pants and the school color shirt. So like Jacksonville would be red, Northside would be blue, White Oak would be green, Southwest would be orange. I don't know what Dixon's school color is, but burgundy, I think.
Black
Yes.
and
So
And the
burgundy.
big
Dixon's
thing is
yeah,
shoes.
yeah,
If everybody has the same shoes, if you look at kids nowadays,
yeah.
everybody goes for shoes.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't care if you got a $5 shirt, you're gonna have $100 and some pair of shoes. That's the thing.
Well, I will say that Newbridge, I have a kid client that goes to Newbridge, and they were
Uh huh.
talking about how Newbridge is not allowing certain type of shoes there this semester because this kid had to go out and buy certain shoes because they couldn't wear whatever they. I guess they
Right.
could before they can't, which I'm all for that too. But
Oh
I
yeah.
think uniforms will cut. I mean, it's not going to solve all the problems, but if
No.
you chip away at a thing here and a thing there, make them wear uniforms and have the metal detectors, and then start limiting. I don't think a child should not have their phone, but I think the phone should not be used in class.
Right.
So
And
make them put
Jacksonville, I
that up.
think, took theirs away this
Yeah.
year, which I think is a great high
I think
school.
yeah, but I think there are emergencies, like that
Yes.
occur. So make them just where you can't have it. Have all the kids, have an assigned cubby, and it sounds crazy to say, but when they walk in, everyone's goes in there in the cubby,
Right.
and then do you get it when you walk out and you go? I mean, because I
Right.
could see, I had a daughter with epilepsy. Okay, she needed her phone.
Right.
For a variety of reasons. At one point, the doctors wanted her seizures recorded so they could see length and what was
Mhm.
happening when she was having them. So
Mhm.
there's always
Exceptions to every rule.
exceptions. There's always
Yes.
reasons. But I
Yes.
mean, but I just think and then limiting, having more parental involvement and grandparent involvement and whatever, and limiting the video game watching and watching what movies. I mean, chip away at where these kids are becoming desensitized to violence
Correct.
and each other and human rights and human decency. Chip away at it and restore some of that. We're not going to solve all the problems,
That's
no,
right.
but we're
No.
going to prevent some things. And the more you do good, the more good, that becomes a mindset.
That's right. All you
Yeah, at
can
least
do,
they're trying. They're
right.
the thing. It's not like they're not attempting to stop these things, and they're trying to implement as much as they can. But then maybe sometimes, like I saw somewhere where someone was using some veterans to even maybe come in and help monitor some of these areas. You know, some of these retired people. I mean, I don't have the answer, but I just know that the whole world's screwed up.
Well,
I do know that. I mean,
I don't think you
I
can.
mean,
You can't monitor if you're not going to make change in other areas.
exactly,
So having a
exactly.
bunch of veterans come and monitor in school, why that's good, it's not going to solve the problem
Right.
No.
because you aren't going after the other root issues.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you're just going to have to chip
You got
away
to chip
at
away
it.
and hit it
Little
from
bit
a
at a time.
three-prong approach.
Right.
That's what I think. I mean,
Have
some
task
some
force
of the
going to the
fixes are
schools.
easier.
Right.
Uniforms,
Oh yeah,
That's
metal
right.
the metal
detectors.
detectors
Those are
are
probably two
excellent.
easiest ones.
Oh
And
yeah,
the other
and
stuff is
I
hard.
had thought the same thing that Rayford had thought of few weeks ago when they were talking about entrance into the schools. I thought put a tower up there and somebody with a shotgun or whatever, and you can see all the way around, and you can tell if there's somebody that's coming up there. And I had thought that also, but the metal detectors would detect some things. But of
Yeah.
course, now that person did not get into the school. That I don't guess from the incident that happened yesterday. Now I don't know how something like that would have. I don't think it happened
The
inside
incident
the
yesterday
school.
was in the school. Yes, it was.
Yes.
It
Okay,
was
see,
inside the
I didn't
school.
know that for
Yes.
sure. That was in the school.
Yeah, it was in
And
the school. Yes.
then I heard it came from an incident that transpired a couple of days before that. Of course, you're hearing all these rumors, which I don't even want to go there. But I know that the school is doing all they can do. It's not like they're not trying to improve. I had heard that Jacksonville was going to a no cell phone except for certain
Correct.
Yes, they
reasons,
did.
and
Yes.
and mesh. I think see-through book bags.
Yeah.
And then if you weren't, the ones you weren't going to use that that you couldn't see through, you just kept them in your locker. Now that's a step. I mean, that's one improvement. I mean, that's something. I mean, they're attempting to. I mean, you're still going to have these incidents because you got these video games. That even my grandson, I was watching him the other day. I thought, what in the world?
Yeah.
I mean, I sat down and the language and then the killing, and I was like,
I'm telling you, parents really need to pay attention.
yeah, they don't,
every
and I
day.
really didn't pay much attention to them because the ones that he played when he was younger were not as bad
Oh,
as the
these
ones
lyrics
that
are horrific.
yeah.
These song lyrics are awful.
And I was like, you're not watching that. You can just forget that.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen here. Take that out of here.
Mhm.
And I mean, I was like, wow. And even on TV nowadays, some of the stuff that's on regular TV is sort of rough too.
Oh, it's rough, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
just terrible.
I think that the school's doing a good job, the best they can. I think yesterday was I'm very proud of the quickness and the action taken. I really hate that some of the students had to see what transpired there, and I'm truly sorry for the families that are affected yesterday. It's just a tragedy,
Yeah, it is.
and I'm just, what can you say?
Yeah, all you can do is just keep chipping away because they will take measures to counteract previous issues, and something else is going to come up. You just keep working at it.
Oh yeah, evil will always find a way to try to work their way into some way, somehow it will still chip trying to get in there.
That's right.
But as long as we keep chipping back, hopefully one day. I mean, when we were in school, we never thought of anything like this. I mean, this is like unbelievable. Of course, we had discipline in school. We had prayer in school. We had pledge of allegiance in school. We had a whole lot of different stuff in school than what's in school nowadays.
Right.
When a teacher spoke, it wasn't like we spoke back. We either got sent to the principal's office and got our heinies whipped, or we got notes sent up to our parents, different things.
Right.
I mean, things have changed, but when things change, we got to go with the change, but we can also take measures to try to prevent from bad things happening. And I think that's what our schools and the
good points.
administrators are
Just
trying
say
to
a lot
do.
of prayers and hope we can get through this.
Yep.
But we're up at the top of the hour. We've got to
Let's
take
take a break.
another break,
Okay.
Miss
Yep.
Joyce.
Y'all have
So
a good
thanks
one.
for
Bye, Joy.
calling. You too.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Bye,
All
you
right.
too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's take our break. Our last break of the morning. We're live in Local Real Talk, and caller, hold on. We will be right back with you. We are back, and we have a caller that has been patiently holding. Good morning, caller. Who's this?
Hey, Kelly, Roy Spennett.
Hey.
Lee, Kelly, y'all have had a great 3 weeks here. Y'all have done a really good
Oh,
job.
thank you,
Well, thank
Royce.
you.
Yeah, I wanted to end, hoping I could end the week by reminding people that Holly Ridge has a Liberty Festival this
That's
weekend.
right. They
It's
do.
Saturday, starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And what's really cool, they're going to have the Tunnels to Towers mobile museum out there.
Ooh.
And thing to do in Onslow County, that's a great opportunity. Just go down to Holly Ridge.
I'm glad
Towers
you called and
Museum.
reminded us on that because they're doing that in lieu of the 4th of July. So
That's right, right.
yes.
And they'll have fireworks at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So it's been a
Awesome.
great time. I'd encourage folks to go out there and support Holly Ridge
Well,
That's
and
thank
Tunnels
you.
to Towers.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thanks for letting
All
us
right.
know about that.
Yes. Thanks, Royce.
Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good day.
Have
You
a good
too.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, just real quick, I want to mention one thing. Governor Ron DeSantis appointed Mark Glass as the commissioner of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Mark Glass has an extensive resume and has been in law enforcement for quite a long time. But a little tidbit of information: he is the grandson of our former police chief, Clyde Cook.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Nice
there you
work.
go.
Nice work. And I just want to tell people real quick that Monday is National Cheese Pizza Day. So some places are having, sales on cheese pizza, but I just want to put that out there. So Monday, September 5th is National Cheese Pizza Day. And I'm saying that partly because my stomach's growling. So caller real quick. We got about 30 seconds. Who is this?
Hey, this is Steve. I
Hey,
wanted to
Steve.
call and congratulate y'all on a great 2 weeks. Y'all have done an awesome job.
Well,
you,
thank
thank
you,
you.
and happy birthday. You have a birthday tomorrow, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's
right.
correct.
Well,
I
happy
turned
birthday.
Happy
I turned
birthday.
51.
Well, happy
Oh,
birthday.
goodness.
Happy birthday.
Thank
All
you.
right, well,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much.
All right.
All right.
Well,
In-house headlines signing off.
sign off. Yeah.
And thanks for the song.
Yeah. Yes.
We're going to
yes.
publish
You're
that
welcome,
one.
guys.
Well, have a
All
good
right.
weekend.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, it's been a great
Yeah.
3 weeks. I want to thank everybody for putting up
Yes.
with us and not hating on
Standing
us
by
too
us,
much.
supporting us.
Rayford, thank the good Lord will be back.
Even when
next
you were
week.
laughing at
Yeah.
us, we
Yeah.
were glad you were there.
Oh, I laugh at myself about 22 times a day. So that's nothing new.
And
there.
thanks to my co-host Mike McHugh for the day he
yes,
came
I
in
appreciate Mike
and
coming
sat
in
with me.
when I had to go to the doctor. Yep.
Right.
But Rayford will be back. He flies back tomorrow. So he will be back Monday. And I want everyone to have a safe and,
Be safe. Yes.
easy, relaxing Labor Day weekend. The weather is going to be perfect.
Beautiful.
If you do go to the beach, please be mindful of the water. Watch for rip currents and
Riptides.
everything else.
Rip currents, yes.
Just please be mindful and be safe and do not swim alone. Don't drink and swim, etc. If you're on a boat, same. Be careful. I just want everybody to be safe and have a good weekend.
And up next is Sports Talk with
Sports
Chris
Talk is
Rayner.
next. Yep. So everyone have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye.